Let's start what's coming up first. You have an appearance coming up in December at the Exotica in Washington, D.C.
I do.
Your first
December
one in-
2nd.
Your first one in how long?
Well, they announced it as over a decade, but I believe it would be more like 25 years. 20 to 25 years.
Was there a reason you decided to come back now? I mean, was there?
Well, I get asked that a lot, and I don't have a great answer other than I just basically said, like, fuck it. I want to have fun while I can do it. I miss dancing. I miss like interacting with my fans, and
Right.
I felt like social media would be able to provide, that interaction. And so I wanted to do it before I can.
And people always wonder where do famous porn stars like yourself go when they retire? Is there like a retirement home or?
Where did I go? I fulfilled a lot of things that I wanted to fulfill. I went to school. I got my master's. I'm a professional counselor, mental health therapist. I got married. I got divorced. I traveled. I had a career. I enjoyed myself.
So was there any one thing specifically that made you want to leave the business when you did?
A couple of things. I always said when something is not fun for me or it doesn't like serve me in a positive way, I would stop. And the adult industry at that point in time, due to like things going on in the industry, things going on in my personal life, did not serve me. I was not having fun anymore, and I don't want to fake it. I don't like that. I never have done that before. I don't do that in my personal life. So I stepped down, and I was also scared of diseases. There was a few people that had contracted HIV at the time. I was just nervous. I know I wore condoms for the most part. And everybody was as safe as could be, but sometimes that's not enough. So.
And how long was it for you to get away from the Nikki Dial character and become just Nikki yourself normally, I guess, again?
How long did it take me?
Did it take you to transition out of this adult character?
I could do it. I could do it right now. No, it didn't take long.
And then did you stay in California or did you move somewhere else?
I stayed in California for a while. Oh gosh, until about 8 years ago. And then I moved to North Carolina. I'm sorry, about 12 years ago. And then I moved to North Carolina for 5 years. And then I moved back to Pennsylvania after that.
Well, did you get a normal job after you left the business, or did you get married at that point and become a housewife?
When I left the business, I went to school. I did a lot of things. I have to go back and remember. I moved back home to Pennsylvania. I worked, and then I actually moved back to California, not having anything to do with the business. I stripped for about 6 years. And then after I got done dancing, I went to Cal State Northridge, got my bachelor's, and then I went on to get my master's. And I did get married after all of that took place.
Go to public school, private school?
I went to all of the above. I think I started out in Christian schools. Then I went to Catholic school. I went to public school. I graduated from a Baptist high school.
And in grade school, I know you're really young at that point. Do you have any idea what you want to do with the rest of your life?
Yeah, I thought I was going to be a speech pathologist or a veterinarian. That's what I thought.
Did you have a favorite subject in grade school?
Pardon?
Do you have a favorite subject in grade school?
Science and math in college, but in grade school it was science.
Now, in high school, were you a loner, a geek, a nerd, or?
I was voted Miss Congeniality, so I kind of fit in with every crowd. I would have like pockets of friends, so they may not have intermingled with each other, but I was friends with the preppies or I don't know, whatever you want to label them at the time, but I was kind of friends with everybody, but I was very much into boys. So I started getting into boys then, and I skipped a lot of school, and my poor mom, I caused her. So I went to 5 different high schools because of that.
So you were popular with the boys.
Yeah.
Was it a
Yes.
specific boy or just different ones?
I wasn't promiscuous back then. I had a long-term boyfriend in high school, and then I just kind of when I broke up with him, I dated, if you want to call high school a dating, but
Did your favorite subject change?
no. Mm-mm. I've always liked science.
And you mentioned you went to Baptist, Catholic, and public schools.
Mhm.
Was there a difference as far as education? So did you prefer being in a Baptist school versus a Catholic school versus public?
I think socially, I preferred public schools. I think educationally, I preferred the Baptist school. They had a great curriculum, and the Christian school that I went to did not. I think that did me no favors, not because it was Christian, but because the curriculum was well below par.
In high school, were you into the bad boys? Were you into the jocks? What type of boy?
No, the jocks liked me, but I wanted the bad boys. Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that the story of our lives?
Did you do any modeling or anything at that point?
No, no modeling. No.
Do you remember the first time you saw something adult related? A movie, a magazine?
I do. I was probably in 8th grade, and my mom had a Playboy. It could have been a Playgirl, but I'm pretty sure it was a Playboy in her bottom drawer. And I was just amazed. I was amazed at like the hair on the women, and just how beautiful I thought they were.
When you saw that material, thought ever crossed your mind that I could do that?
No, well, not then, not in 8th grade. I was
Right.
not, yeah, no.
But
I
you
don't think the
finished,
thought ever crossed my mind until I moved to California.
you finished high school, then you go to college, or do you move to California?
I finished high school, and the day I graduated, I moved to California. I did not go to college right away. I waited almost 10 years.
So you moved to California to be a big movie star like everybody else?
No. I moved out there to meet some members of my family that I had not yet met.
Then how do you make the transition into this wonderful business?
So I think this is something nobody knows. I was homeless in LA. And
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
yeah. Yep. And I got an LA Weekly, and I saw an ad there for a bondage club. And I answered the ad. I think it was the day I turned 18. I worked at a B&D parlor.
Were you into bondage? Did you know what that was?
No, I wasn't. I got introduced, and I loved it.
You love being a sub or you love being a dom?
I can do both, but I prefer a sub.
And you did some videos, right? Some bondage videos?
I did. So after I stopped working at the facility, and then I got into adult movies, I did do some bondage videos. Yes.
Were they all the way into sex or just like tied up and blindfolded and all that?
God, they're gonna kill me because I can't remember. I don't think they were sex. I think at the time they weren't allowed to do that, maybe. I don't remember having sex. I definitely don't remember having sex with men. I did play with females.
How do you make the transition then into the adult business? from
I was
bondage.
already in, yeah, I was already in the adult business when I did the bondage.
Yeah, but how do you get into mainstream adult work then? Shooting movies and all that, like. for
Oh, how
companies.
did I?
Yeah.
Again, LA Weekly, I answered an ad for figure modeling. And I didn't know at that time I would be walking into Pretty Girl International. I don't know if everybody today remembers Reb.
Yeah.
He
I
then
do, I
became
mean.
I know you remember him. Yeah.
So you walk in the office, then do they ask you to take Polaroids and stuff, or what is that process like?
He just sat with me and asked me if I knew what it was. I was nervous. He was kind. He just said it's nude modeling and you can do as much or as little as you want. I did take some Polaroids. I think I did a headshot and a body shot. And signed some papers, and then that was it.
At what point in the discussion does it come up that you can do adult movies instead of just modeling?
I don't recall. I recall it coming up in that first meeting, but it was kind of like I glossed over that because I thought, no, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna do some magazines.
Do you remember what magazines you did?
I did a lot of magazines. I think I've done like Chic, is it Chic, Swank, High Society. I did Penthouse. And then all of the other ones, all the little ones in between. Legs, I can't remember all of, there was a lot.
And were you comfortable at that point doing like nude photography and stuff, or was that just for the money?
No, I was pretty comfortable. I don't think I was too shy. I don't remember being shy. I found it fun and I felt pretty. So I enjoyed it.
You remember the first time you saw professional nude photos of yourself? What your
Yeah.
reaction was?
Well, that's me. Wow. Yeah.
You ever have any scary stories with shady photographers?
I do, but I won't call anybody out.
Okay. You model, and then you remember what your first movie was? Actual adult movie, like hardcore.
I don't remember the name of it. God, I don't remember the name of my first movie, but I do remember walking out. I showed up on time on set, and it was overwhelming. I think this was the first like film. And I called Reb and I said, please come get me. So he came and got me.
Then what brought you back?
The curiosity, the money, the fun. I mean, it is fun. I think I just got, I don't know. I came back though.
You do your first movie, you actually go through it. At what point does it really hit you like that you're about to do an adult film? Is it like when you meet the actor or you're in the makeup chair, you actually get ready to do the commercial part of the scene, I guess they call it?
I think when you see the set, you walk in and all the lights and all the people. I don't think it took me actually getting into the chair or being on set. I think just walking in. But definitely when you get ready for your scene, you know it.
For
I don't
sake of
know.
discussion, your first boy-girl scene, we'll call the actor Johnny for sake of discussion.
Okay.
You walk in and this gentleman walks over to you and says, "Hi, I'm Johnny. I'll be working with you today."
Yes.
What's that process like for you? Like,
I had great experiences. Everybody was always so professional. I don't know what it's like now. I would hope it would be the same for women, but yeah, nobody, was vulgar. Nobody was crass. It was very professional.
at that point, you just did boy-girl sex, right? There was no anal sex or nothing else.
I think you can catch one anal scene I did that I somewhat regret. not because I don't like anal. But yeah, that was the only anal I did. I think I kept a lot of things. I'm private, and I kept a lot of things private in my sex life. So things that I enjoy personally, you would not find on film for people to see. And anal was one of them.
Correct me if I'm wrong too. At that point, you did movies that had sex in them, right? As opposed to
Yes.
now where you just shoot a sex scene. So you had dialogue and you had to
Yes.
rehearse.
Yeah. Oh, we had, it was, I think the movies would take 3 days or more or longer. They were, and it was a lot of dialogue. Yeah. It was not just going, you don't just go in and shoot the sex scene and leave. No. Mm-mm.
Would you have preferred that?
No. Mm-mm. I had fun. I had fun acting.
And a typical sex scene, how long was it when they shot it? 20 minutes,
It,
30 minutes?
it would depend on chemistry between the two individuals. It would depend on, you know, the male, uh, if he could perform until the end and how long that would take. But typically it would take a half an hour.
And back then, you got to pick who you worked with, correct?
I did every time.
Was that a perk? Was that expected?
It was my perk. I don't know what it was like for other women, but I was fortunate to have that say. Mhm.
And did you have a specific group of guys that you like to work with?
Yep. I had a handful of guys. The ones that you see me working with were the ones that I enjoyed working with.
And was that just a business decision? Was that because they were good looking and it would look good on camera, or you just had good chemistry with them?
I wouldn't say that I found all of them necessarily good looking, and that's subjective. I get that, but they were respectful. They were clean. They had a good work ethic. They performed, and they were fun, you know, and I enjoyed being with them.
And do you have any favorite movies from back then that you can recall?
Oh yeah. I really liked Things Change. I love Deidre Holland, and I had fun with that movie. So I would say that would be one.
And prior to getting in the business, had you had any preconceived notions about the adult entertainment industry?
No, because I didn't know anything about it. Mm-mm.
Prior to going under contract, how many movies had you shot?
I don't know, because I was under contract for VCA, I think Legend first, and then VCA, and then I ended with Vivid.
And at that point, did you understand the value of being under contract as opposed to a free agent?
I did understand it. I understood it. Yeah, yes.
Without kissing your butt, you were crazy. You were very, very popular back then, and you still are now.
Mhm.
There's a two-part question, but why do you think you were so much in demand when you first got in the business?
I'll tell you what I think, what I was told. I was the new girl, and you know, the new girls always were favored. I guess I had the, you know, all-American look. I don't know. I was young. I think I was only 18, so I was fairly young. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that would be an answer for the people who say I'm popular.
The second part of that question is there's still a, like we discussed before on the phone, there's a mystique about Nikki Dial now.
Mhm.
Are you surprised that that's there?
No, I think this might be the second interview I've ever done. So
When was the last one you did?
I did one, I think if you Google my name, you can find it. It's short, and I was working for Suze Randall at the time. I was shooting magazine. And somebody interviewed me. I actually was smoking a cigarette throughout the interview, and my hair was in rollers. Think that was the only one that I had done, at least on camera.
And when you're in the business, do you have goals for yourself? You know, you want to win an award, you want penthouse cover, you want.
I did not. I think the only goal I had, I would have liked to have done Playboy. I would have liked that, but I did want to do Penthouse.
And you did though, right?
I did. Yep.
And how do you get into feature dancing? Is that just the next step from doing movies?
That was kind of it's kind of not what was expected, but it just flowed, you know. People who were retired from the industry or even still in it would then feature dance.
And did you have a preference between shooting movies or doing live shows?
Oh wow, I love dancing. I think I preferred that more.
Is it the interaction? Is it the attention? Is it?
Yes, I am the attention, definitely the interaction. I love the travel. I like to meet everybody. People would tell me all kinds of stories about how they first saw me. So it was just fun. I'm a people person. I know I'm shy, but I really am a people person.
And for you, when you're doing shows, did you prefer to do the actual show, or did you have the big costumes and the whole bit, or did you like the interaction?
So I did have costumes. I used to get yelled at because I didn't have like the elaborate big boas and like all the theme shows. I mean, there are some women that had just awesome shows, right? It was almost theatrical. I didn't have that. So I remember I'd be like, oh, well, I mean, I'm here. I have clothes. I mean, I wore costumes, but they weren't, I felt funny in them. I didn't feel authentic. I didn't feel like it was sexy to me.
What kind of music did you dance to?
Oh, hip hop and rap a lot. I guess it would depend on the client or the clients, the crowd. I'd read the crowd and go from there.
And did you enjoy doing lap dances?
Yes, I actually have a lap dance fetish.
Is that teasing the person? Is that the contact? Is that the expectation? Is that what?
I think the teasing, the control, the naughty factor that could be, the contact. It was, I always had fun doing it.
Favorite club anywhere?
Pardon?
Do you have a favorite club anywhere in the country?
Oh, wow. I used to like the Admiral Theater in Chicago. Oh no, I can't remember the name of it. It was in Columbus, Ohio. Excalibur. I went there a lot. Bob's Classy Lady.
Did you dance once a month, twice a month? Did you prefer being out?
I started doing every other week. So twice a month, we would do 6 days, Monday through Saturday. Sunday was a travel day. And then I'd have a week off and then do it again.
Were you more popular on the East Coast as opposed to the West Coast? A lot of people say because of the blue collar people on the East Coast.
Not that I can recall. People in Pittsburgh enjoyed, they felt like I was kind of like the hometown girl. So I was popular there, but.
Was that Club Ed or Club
Yeah,
Elite?
it was a hotel, wasn't it?
Yeah. You had that the old elevator, like the cranky one.
Yeah, yes.
And you went upstairs. When you were under contract, how many movies were you doing? Like 10 a year? Like one a month?
One a month for Vivid. And I think they would renew every 6 months. It was like a 6-month contract. I don't remember for VCA or Legend, but I know it was not a lot. Like they were spread out.
And was there a difference between being a Legend contract girl versus VCA versus Vivid?
Oh, Vivid was like where it was at.
What was that about being a Vivid girl? Like, you ladies were considered, like, we call them UBs, which is unobtainable babes.
It's true. Yeah, you felt that. It was just an aura. I mean, they had beautiful women. I mean, and they treated us very well. I felt like, yeah, it's almost like, you know, princess like.
Behind the scenes were the Vivid Girls competitive?
Pardon?
I said behind the scenes were the Vivid Girls competitive?
I did not experience that. No.
Outside of Vivid, did you ever see that in the industry?
I saw it. I saw it in the industry a little bit. I mean, I think you know, when you get that many females around, they tend to get catty. But nothing extreme.
For your experience in the business, what was the reality of it versus what people think it is?
I think we are just so much more normal than people think that we are. It ended up being, you know, when under contract, you end up being like a little family, you know, you see the same people for the most part, and you're very comfortable. It just becomes you're walking, you know, they rented big homes back then, but you walk in and you just kind of kick your feet up and you're like, you know, chilling until you're seen. There's back then, I don't know, there was no like big orgies. We're not, you know, having sex with everybody all the time. And, you know, we are smart. So I think that people would think otherwise if they didn't know.
For you as a person, was there anything that you felt established yourself in the business? Like, I'm a Vivid Girl now, so I made it. Is there anything like that?
I think there was a little bit of that. I think winning an award, you know, that is part of it. You at that point, you know, okay, well, maybe I am probably more popular than I thought. But I'm not like that in my personal life. Like accolades and yeah, I don't focus too much on that.
You have an OnlyFans account.
I do.
Tell me about that.
It's new. It's brand new. I just announced
What
it,
type of
I
stuff
think
would be
3
shooting for
days ago.
OnlyFans?
So OnlyFans, I'll be shooting, it'll be mostly solo, nudity, of course, some girl, maybe not X-rated girl right at this time, but you know, I want to say R-rated. Probably get into some trouble at Exotica, so that'll go up there. I do custom videos, so again, it's solo, but I'm a bit more naughty on my custom videos than the pictures.
And the customs will just be solos at this point?
I'm sorry?
Your custom videos and photos, will it just be solo?
For now, yes.
And what is your handle for OnlyFans?
It is the official Nikki Dial.
And you have a hit list of people you want to play with it in Washington?
I know Christy and I are probably going to get friendly.
Okay.
So people can look out for that.
And you do your first video for OnlyFans. What was that experience like after taking so much time off to doing naughty stuff again and filming it?
It comes natural. I am naughty in my personal life, so it's not much different.
And we kind of touched on it, but how much different are you than the person people see on camera? How much of this is an act?
Oh, well, it's not an act. I really am having fun. I try to be I'm not going to bare my soul and, you know, tell all my personal details, but so people will only get to know me on a superficial level, but what you see is really me. And
will you be selling anything at the Exotica show? Movies, 8x10s?
I don't have any of the memorabilia from days past, but I will have 2 different 8x10s available to be signed. I will have t-shirts actually for people to buy, and then of course selfies.
And I know you've just come back right now, but are you giving yourself any kind of timeline? You want to do this for a year or 2 years, or you just going to see how it plays out?
I'm just gonna see how it plays out. Yeah.
And from being in the adult industry, has your perception of sex changed?
No,
So you still
no.
like sex even though it's part of the job?
Yeah, oh yes. I'm very sexual. I'm highly sexual.
In high school, were you sexually active?
I was. I was sexually active. I think I said this before, like I wouldn't consider myself promiscuous in high school, but I was sexually active.
Sex the first time, do you immediately become sexually active after that, or do you wait before you do it again?
Um, no, I became sexually active after that.
And
Immediately. Yeah.
when you came to California and you were doing the bondage stuff and all that, was
Mhm.
there any type? There was no sex ever, any bondage. I think we touched on it earlier. But when you get into adult movies, do you enjoy sex more at that point because you're having it more often?
I don't think I enjoyed sex more than for a number of reasons. I mean, I'm looking at this in hindsight, right? So
Yeah.
um I I think that I enjoy sex now more being older, being more experienced, being more comfortable with my body. Uh in movies, I didn't really have that much of a sex life outside of movies for a long time. So my gauge was a little off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, but no, I didn't not like sex. It was just I've always liked sex. I mean, even bad sex is still sex. Like bad pizza, it's still pizza.
You mentioned in hindsight, do you have any regrets about your career?
I I do. I wish I would have been a little more business minded as far as like strategy back then. Mhm.
And would you have just promoted yourself more? Would you have just you mentioned business wise, was there something you felt you underachieved, or was there something?
Yeah, no, I don't think I realized how popular I was until I was done. I wish I would have known. I may have like stepped away, but not for as long.
I'm going to ask you about. I'd like to ask you about a couple actors. Rocco Siffredi. What were your memories of working with Rocco?
Uh, it's funny. That's the scene that everybody I get the most, like compliments, if you will, from that. I found him to be very respectful with me. He wore a condom. I think at that time, I don't know if he had, worn them often or on a regular basis, but he was very kind. He asked me how I was doing, a number of times, like throughout the scene, and he was fun. Yeah, he's probably my favorite.
He had a big thing.
He
Was that
had a
difficult?
big thing. Yeah,
Was that
he did.
difficult for you to work with? Was that?
Pardon?
I said, having that big thing, was it difficult to work with for you? Because some women are very tiny.
I am tiny, but he knows what he's doing. I mean, he knows what he's doing. I'll put it that way. He didn't hurt me in a
Have
bad
you ever
way.
worked with Ron
No,
Jeremy?
I never have. No, I know he had requested to work with me, and I didn't want to, just for a number of reasons. But so I know he was in one of my movies, and I think the closest I got to him was I smacked his thing away, like he whipped it out, and I was like, "Get that thing out of here!" And that was it.
Social media now has changed everything. Do you
Mhm.
feel yourself from being away so long that maybe there's too much information on social media?
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes.
I mean,
That's a hard yes.
when you were in the business, there was a mystique about you, and there was, like we used to say, a UB, an unobtainable
Hmm.
babe, we like to say. And
Hmm.
now do you stay on social media? Do you talk to fans and interact and do all that?
I talk to fans. I interact. I'd like to keep some of the mystique. That's probably why I'm not going to be doing, hardcore boy girl, things like that anymore. But yeah, a lot of people know a lot of things about me that I had no idea. Yeah.
And is it funny, weird, strange when people say these things to you and you don't know, don't remember them, let's say?
It's odd sometimes. I'm getting more used to it. It depends on how deep they dig, I guess. You know, there's information is everywhere now. So that I'm not used to. Before Christy and I talk about this, we're like, we were so coddled back then, when we were in it, fans had to like show up at the establishment or, come see you. You couldn't find us everywhere.
From a physical perspective for you back in the day and even now, what do you think is your best attribute?
My mind.
And, I don't know if you're married or not married right now. For a person to have a chance in hell with you, would they be tall, short, fat, skinny? What type of person?
I think the older I get, yeah. I would have answered this differently 20 years ago. But no, I do like tall. I will say that I prefer tall, but I don't really have a set of like physical requirements anymore. I more so have internal requirements, like be a good person, be clean. I know that's not internal, but I don't have physical attraction changes as you get older.
From being in the sex industry, does sex have to be a big part of the relationship?
In my personal life?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, it's a big part of my relationships. Yes.
And you meet people now. Do they still know of Nikki Dial? Do they?
They do. I'm curious to see how that changes. I think a lot of people over the years, maybe forgot, or maybe I look different. I don't get recognized in public as much. Of course, my friends and family all know. That's never changed. I still get razzed about everything from them, but yeah, I don't get recognized a lot, no. Which I don't mind.
Back in the day, did your family know what you were doing? Were they cool with it? Were they?
They didn't know while I was doing it. Well, when I started doing it, they didn't know. They all found out in a unique way towards the end of my career.
Their reaction was?
Overall, I have the best set of friends and family I think one could ask for. Everybody has been very supportive. There's no judgment. They love me for who I am. Nobody has said, I disown you.
And when you were a size
no.
queen, did a big wee matter? A big thing?
Yeah, I don't want it too big and I don't want it too little. I think, I know that you probably shouldn't say that, but, too big is too big for me. If I had to pick, I'd rather have it be probably too little, because I don't want to be hurting every time I have sex. Yeah.
Have you heard anything about the industry now? Like what it's like from?
Nope. I'm so far removed.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I'd say on the spectrum, it's more of a good thing for me. Yeah.
The upcoming Exotica show after that, are you looking at doing any other appearances, or will that be the other one for a while?
I'd love to. I'd love to start, scheduling more conventions, more like personal autograph signings, things like that, so I can get out and meet people.
You meet a young Nikki Dial right now, and she says, I want to get in this business. What do you tell her?
Oh, wow. Save your money. Invest.
And
Be
you always,
smart.
I'm sorry, you're always into women, right?
Yes. No, I never was with a woman until I did movies, actually.
Did you have a look? Everybody has a look.
Did I have a look?
Type of woman you're into.
Oh, I love beautiful women. I love beautiful women, feminine women. That's not, I just, yeah, beautiful, beautiful women. Who doesn't?
And you were friends with Kelly O'Dell? Did you guys just work together?
We were friends. I would say we were friends. Yes.
Did you
I
guys
think she
ever,
was very sweet.
did you ever work together?
Oh, yeah. Yep. We did.
Was that weird
We
from
were,
being a friend with somebody and then working with them?
no, no, it felt very natural. Yeah.
And
She was a good girl.
and can you recommend any girl scenes for people to check out that you did?
I will, I like Deidre Holland. So I will say that one. Again, things change.
And once again, without kissing anybody's butt, you mentioned you might do some pretty stuff with Christy in Washington, D.C. You
Yes.
both have had long longevity. In
Mhm.
Christy's case, why do you think that is from your perspective?
I think with Christy, you just see what you see is what you get. She's just so real and she's not pretentious. She has fun. You know, I think that comes across.
You remember the first time you met her?
I do. I do. It was on a set. It was for a magazine. Ron Vogel was shooting it. I don't remember what magazine it was though. That's where we first met.
Do you have any dirty thoughts about her when the first time you saw her? Like you would love to.
I was intimidated. I knew who she was. I was like, oh my God, this is Christy Canyon. I was new. Yeah.
Okay. You meet her, and does she put you at ease right away? Does she?
Oh yeah. Yep. Very much so. She's very genuine. She's a good person.
Anything you want to say to all of your fans?
I will say, thank you. I feel well received. It's very appreciated. All the attention, all of the kind words. I feel like I have the best fans. They're all very respectful, naughty. That's a good combo. So.
And very quickly, we touched on it earlier, but from what you just said, you're surprised that people still know who Nikki Dial is?
Yeah, I didn't think that I maybe would have the longevity or the impact that I had. So it's yeah.